Thank you for joining us for this inaugural episode of Meaningful Work and Community Inclusion. We hope you'll join us for future episodes where we'll discuss issues around disability employment and community inclusion in Montgomery County. I'm Laura Owens, your host. Today we'll be talking with two guests, Qua Nguyen from TransCen and Claire Stanley from TransCen's Mid-Atlantic ADA Center. Welcome.
Thank you.
So Qua, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about the work that you do at TransCen.
So a lot of what I do is creating the partnerships with local businesses and meeting what their workforce needs are. So in providing that to different employers, I look at what they're looking for in different candidates, the different roles that they have within their company or business, and at the same time, I'm also looking at the youth with disabilities as well, and seeing what their strengths are, what their skills are, their dream job, their passion, what industry and field that they're interested in.
And how do you go about finding those passions and interests?
So what we do is we do a positive personal profile where we look at their volunteer opportunities, their background, their history, what were they interested in when they were in high school, different things that they do in the community with their family, with their friends, and it really does look at how they best learn and where they want to be in terms of employment, whether it's a short-term goal, long-term goal, whether they're looking for future education and training as well.
Great. And can you talk a little bit about the businesses that you work with and how you develop those relationships with those employers?
It all starts with what the youth or what the young adult is interested in, and so if they're interested in working with the media industry, for example, I start looking at the different employers through online research first. Then I contact the manager or human resources and I ask, can I sit down and learn a little bit more about what you're looking for? What is it that your businesses do? And so in learning over time what they're looking for, I can see, well, I can see this is a certain task that is not quite getting met. It's not something that that your employees are currently doing, but I see this is what you're needing. This will drastically reduce the time that you waste or that you're not able to use efficiently, and I can provide you with a candidate that can meet that need.
So it's really looking at the skills and interests of a young adult with a disability and matching them to the needs of the business.
Yes, absolutely. It's a lot like matchmaking.
Yeah.
What the business is looking for and what the candidate is looking for.
I like that. And it's probably dating when you're going out and meeting with employers.
Yes,
you gotta
it is.
Kind of get them to buy into what you're trying to sell them. Good.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Great. Claire, so along with employment for people with disabilities, you're one of the employees at the Mid-Atlantic ADA Center. Can you tell us a little bit about the Mid-Atlantic ADA Center and what its purpose is and what you do there?
For sure. So the Mid-Atlantic ADA Center is part of a wider national network, and we were developed by Congress to educate people on the Americans with Disabilities Act. It's this great law that ensures the rights of all persons with disabilities, but a lot of people aren't aware of how it works, what it says, that kind of thing. So the ADA Center responds to people's questions. So we have a technical assistance line. We do training out in the community, which is what I do. We have a lot of literature online, a lot of materials you can obtain to teach you about the ADA. So like I said, I specifically am the training specialist, so I get to go out into the community and teach people about the ADA. And we do that for all kinds of groups. Sometimes it might be a private business, it might be a local government, an organization, you name it. So we talk about all the different components of the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Great. And I forgot to mention that we have a special guest, Kodiak.
That's right.
And he's your guide dog. Can you talk a little bit about reasonable accommodations and you know, the fact that, you know, guide dogs are allowed into businesses and restaurants and place of businesses?
For sure. So put my geek ADA hat on, but under Titles II and Titles III of the Americans with Disabilities Act, service animals, what they're called, are allowed into any public facility, even if pets aren't allowed in those facilities. So he gets to go everywhere with me, to restaurants, to libraries, to you name it. They're allowed under the Americans with Disabilities Act.
So I fly a lot, and I see a lot of service animals on the planes. How do you feel about service animals that may not really be service animals?
So I can tell you, under when you're flying, that's actually under a completely different law. That's the Air Carriers Access Act. So again, putting on my geek ADA hat, we always want to teach people what the laws are. But no, it's very frustrating when people are trying to abuse the laws. As a service animal user myself, it's really important that people know what the laws are and they know what it works. So when people are abusing the system, it negatively impacts those of us with legitimate service animals. So it's very frustrating.
Great. Thank you, Claire and Kwa. We're going to take a break now, and we'll be back to discuss the ADA employment with individuals with disabilities in Montgomery County.
What is the difference between a photographer and a visual artist?
Well, the difference is not a lot. To put it simply, I'm a visual artist. Okay, I use photography, but I use other means to express myself.
Montgomery Community Media offers many courses.
Half the people getting to know these awesome people whom I work with and I'm learning with, and great teachers, and it's also like, oh, this is how TV works.
When I'm watching shows like talk shows or even, exercise shows, things like that, I look at it so differently.
That kind of like, there is a guy sitting at a giant board filled with buttons just pushing them. That makes sense.
We teach our students how to be the reporter, the shooter, and the editor for their very own news pieces.
This is a good opportunity to learn about different ways of documentary and editing.
My dad got an email from someone and he told me it was going to be a good opportunity to learn how to edit, shoot videos, and interview people.
It's really good, and you should come to MCM Backpack Journalism class because it's exciting and it's actually really fun.
MCM to me means opportunity. It's giving me the opportunity to gain experience on an actual show that airs on the network. And I don't think I'll be able to get that experience anywhere else. So it's been a great experience for me so far.
For anybody that hasn't taken one of the MCM classes, I encourage you, go out, try it, you won't regret it. You'll have an experience that you're gonna see how the cameras work, and actually an opportunity to be part of video production. That's what I would recommend anybody that's interested in MCM.
Hello, and welcome back to the inaugural episode of Meaningful Work and Community Inclusion. We have Claire Stanley and Kwa Win, who will be talking about the ADA and employment for individuals with disabilities in Montgomery County. So we were talking a little bit about the Americans with Disabilities Act, and it's 27 years old now, Claire.
Almost 28.
Almost 28 in July. And you would be probably, you weren't born when the ADA first came about.
I was 2 years old.
So you were 2 years old, but you're really pretty much most of your life, you've known the ADA.
Exactly, yeah.
Can you imagine what your life would be like without the ADA?
No, I cannot imagine. I am a proud member of what we called the ADA generation, and I'm a proud member of that group because it's had a huge impact on my life as somebody with a disability. I can't imagine what it would have been like not to have that law there for me.
Yeah. So, Kwa, a little bit about employment again. The Americans with Disabilities Act has employment as one of the titles. Do you find any kind of resistance with businesses in wanting to open their doors to people with disabilities? I heard a quote from somebody who talked about, with the 25th anniversary of the ADA, that it was 25 years to open the door for people with disabilities, and now we hope it's not another 25 years to get them through the door. So
Right.
Do you find any resistance at all with employers, and what can we offer them to help them understand that people with disabilities are viable candidates for work?
Well, when I first do the employer outreach and I'm reaching out to businesses, typically they'll ask me, well, are you someone looking for, are you working with candidates with a disability? So typically I'll say, well, I work with candidates from a cross-section of industries. They have a lot of different skills and strengths. But really, I'm looking to see what you are looking for within the candidate so I can best match you with one that is pre-qualified and pre-screened. So a lot of times I think people, when they hear, you know, an individual with disability or special needs, they think of what can't be done, whereas I look at it as what their strengths are. It's a strength-based perspective on what can they bring to the table, and that's where you're able to say, well, I can provide this for you because I know they can do the job, and this is what you're looking for at the same time, so let me provide that for you.
I think that's really key. I think that when we talk about people with disabilities in the workforce, I think it really is about helping people look beyond that disability and look at their strengths and talents and passions and interests. Because I really feel like people with disabilities are the last minority group to be assimilated into our society. So Claire, how can we help businesses understand more about the ADA, and can the Mid-Atlantic ADA Center provide any supports to local businesses?
Yes, please. We always want to make sure that people know we're here and our services are available. You can go to our website at adainfo.org, and there's tons of literature there to answer questions on your questions on just about everything. So please check out our literature. You can also call our 1-800 number, and our technical assistance line can answer any questions people have. That's 1-800-949-4232. And you can get a training, so somebody just like myself can come out and do a training for you. And again, we do trainings on just about everything. So for businesses, whether that's for employment or making your businesses accessible for patrons, so just about everything. So use any or all of those different services we have.
Great, great. Kwa, when you go in and you support somebody on the job, do you help that business understand how to support that individual on the job once they get hired?
Absolutely. So when I first start with an individual in their employment position, I provide that job coaching where I could provide a visual support, a schedule, a checklist, and from there I also work with the natural supports, the other colleagues and the other co-workers there, where I'm saying, well, this person needs this support, and this is how I work with this individual. What is your role and what is it that you do? So in seeing that, I also am educating the other individuals within the workforce of what it means to support each other as you would in a normal and everyday environment.
And I would think that many employers also have customers who have disabilities too, so it probably opens up their eyes for customers as well.
Absolutely.
Right. Thank you. I want to thank Claire and Claire Stanley and Kwa Win for their insights into disability employment and the Mid-Atlantic ADA Center. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you'll join us for our next episode of Meaningful Work and Community Inclusion. And in the meantime, for more information, please check us out at www.transcen.org. Thank you.